Hello, students. Welcome back to our lesson. This is lesson 5 of World History 1, and we're going to talk about the religion of Islam. Just like the other religion, Islam has their sacred text, which is called Quran, and these are the quotes that you will see from the Quran. One of their teachings is that one can only find peace in one's life by submitting to Almighty God, named Allah, in heart, soul, and deed. It's also the same Arabic root word gives us salam alaikum, which means peace be with you. It is actually the universal Muslim greeting. Wherever or whenever you see a Muslim, you can greet them with salam alaikum, which means peace be with you. Now, when we're talking about the religion Islam, it's a question of who is a Muslim. It means a person who believes in and consciously follows Islam. That is what you call a Muslim. Also, from the same root word, so the religion is called Islam, and a person who believes in and follows it is a Muslim. And you also might be wondering how many are there in the world and where you could find or where are the Muslim people. Well, Islam is a major world religion with over 1 billion followers worldwide. That's one fifth of the world population, according to 2007 information or statistics. It is considered one of the Abrahamic monotheistic faiths. When you say mono, it's one, along with Judaism and Christianity. Of course, like any other religion, you would wonder or you would ask the question, who is their God or who is Allah? Allah is the proper name for Almighty God and is often translated merely as God. Allah has other names that are used to describe his characteristics: the creator, the sustainer, the merciful, the compassionate, etc. Muslims believe that since Allah alone is the creator, it is he alone that deserves our devout love and worship. And that is also why they are called a monotheistic religion, because they only believe in one God, and that the name of their God, the creator, is Allah. Because they are a monotheistic religion, any worship and prayers directed at saints or other human beings or prophets or nature is considered idolatry. And as you remembered, Hinduism and Buddhism has certain practices. Similarly, with Islam religion, they also have 5 duties, and this is all true to all Muslims. They must perform these duties, and this is called the 5 pillars of faith. The first one on their 5 pillars is the thing that they call Shahada. Shahada, it is the duty to recite the creed. And in the creed, it says, there is nothing worthy of worship. There is nothing worthy of worship save Allah, and Muhammad is the messenger of God. The next one is what they call salat, or prayer in English, and kaatitan in Khmer. It means the duty to worship the one God in prayer 5 times each day. Keep that in mind. Their prayer is not just like once or twice a day. It is 5 times each day. So they have that discipline to pray to Allah 5 times every single day. The next one is what they call zakat. It means almsgiving or kadatian, and that could probably like giving away alms and helping the needy. It's more like a charity or charitable action. The fourth one to their pillars of faith is what they call sayam or fasting. Um, it is the duty to keep the fast of Ramadan. And the last one is Hajj, or I think in other pronunciation, it's called Haji. It's a pilgrimage. What is pilgrimage? It's the duty to make the pilgrimage to Mecca or to travel to Mecca, to journey to Mecca at least once in a lifetime. One of the teachings, or I'd say foundation in Muslim belief is that they have to know or believe in the Prophet Muhammad. And who is Prophet Muhammad? He is a caravan manager from Mecca. He's rich in trading city and hosts many religious shrines. That's why there is what they call a Haji or pilgrimage to Mecca. Muhammad is married to a rich widow, and Mecca is to Islam as Jerusalem is to Judaism. He was becoming disillusioned with the corruption in the city and the growing gap between the urban dwellers and the Bedouins or nomadic herders. And it was believed that while Muhammad was meditating in the hills, the angel Gabriel visited him and revealed to him that he was the next and the final prophet. And he recited the revelations later written down on the Quran, Revelation, which is also in the as a Christian Bible. And that's why he was believed as that. So when he had established this recognition amongst Muslim people, he began to preach, but attracted few followers. Actually, many enemies feared that he would upset the political and social order. So in 622, Muhammad and his followers fled to Medina. The Hijra. Medina is a city in Saudi Arabia. It's a thriving city. And just like any other religion, Islam has their beliefs as well. One belief that they have is that there is no separation between church and state. It is belief also that salvation in the afterlife will be obtained by submitting only to the will of Allah. And Quran are the ethics and laws of the Islamic community. By reading Quran, you would also be able to submit properly and well in the laws and principles of Islam. It is written in Arabic and cannot officially be translated to another language. To study the Quran, you must learn Arabic. So wherever you are in the world, as long as your belief is Islam or you're a Muslim, you must know Arabic language. And these are the reasons why the Islam has grew in no time. Medina, the city of Medina supported Muhammad and he attracted the support of the Bedouins. These are the nomadic herders. And in 630, Muhammad returned to Mecca with a force of 10,000 soldiers and quickly took the city. Imagine from having a few follower um, and now having 10,000 soldiers, I think there has been a huge and a strong force. And as Islam began to spread through the Arabian Peninsula, Muhammad actually died in 632. After Muhammad died, there has been a growth or what we call a golden age of Muslim civilization. In terms of society, Muslim society was more open than that of medieval Christian Europe. People could improve their social rank through religious, scholarly, or military achievement. Slavery was actually common, but Muslims could not be enslaved. In relation to the economy, merchants were honored in the Muslim world, in part because Muhammad had been a merchant. That's why it has been a lot easier for Muslims to do trading. Their extensive trade network helped to spread Islam from Africa to India. And also, trade spread products and technology. So, as you see, Muslim way or strategy in terms of growth is that they they connect um, trading with their religion. One of the things that the Islam people or Muslim people did is that they organized manufacturing into guilds. What is guild? Guilds regulated the prices, methods, and quality of product. In terms of agriculture, it was based on farming and nomadic herding as well. In terms of art, because the Quran forbade idolatry, God or humans could not be used in religious art. So, as you observed in the Muslim architecture or buildings, the walls and ceilings of mosques are decorated with elaborate abstract geometric patterns. There isn't an image of a god or nature or animals because they forbade. Um, their followers to have an idol, or they forbade idolatry basically. In terms of literature, even before Muhammad, the Arab world had actually a rich tradition of oral poetry. Arab writers prized the art of storytelling, and one of the best known collections is A Thousand and One Nights. With Islam, or is Muslim religion, the world of learning, boys and girls were taught to read and write, especially the Quran. So, me that would also mean that the children from the young age they would start learning Arabic language because that's what the language that is written in the Quran. The model for the university was developed in the Muslim world. Muslim scholars also translated the words of Greek philosophers as well as Hindu and Buddhist texts. One of the pride that Muslim people have is that they made great advances in mathematics, especially algebra and astronomy. They also helped to pioneer the study of algebra and built some of the first observatories. Beside the algebra or mathematics and the astronomy, they're also great, or they have wonderful advance in medicine before the Western world. At the age of 16, Avicenna was already a doctor to Persian nobility and wrote one of the first medical encyclopedias. His book included a list of more than 4,000 prescriptions. So one of the strategies or things that made Muslim white religion is that they have this what they call the Crusades. So the Crusades were a series of holy wars between European Christians and Muslims in the Middle East. Well, basically during that time, there hasn't been a large population in the Middle East in terms of Muslim religion. So there were also European Christians in there, and so there was this holy wars. It actually took place from 1096 to 1291. With the exceptions of the First Crusade, Muslim leaders would continue to control Jerusalem and the land around it. Jihad is the expansion of Islamic control and not just a term for a holy war. So why there has been this crusades? Because it's because in 1095, Pope Urban II called for Christian knights to fight the Seljuk Turks. Both knights and footmen, both rich and poor, strive to help expel the Seljuks from our Christian lands before it is too late. Christ commands it. Remission of sins will be granted for those going further, according to Fulcher of Tart's Chronicle of the First Crusade. Also, the Pope wanted to reclaim the Muslim held holy hands for Christians. Of course, that's what they are going to fight for. The Pope also hoped this would give knights a common enemy to fight instead of each other. And religious zeal motivated many, and knights hoped to win wealth and land. That is why crusades have happened during that time. So, by the record, for victories and defeats, only the First Crusade came close to achieving its goal. Actually, 60,000 knights traveled for 3 years before they reached Jerusalem, and after a long, bloody battle, took the holy city. If you still remember the Punic War in our previous lessons, the Crusades also had a long on and off battle, and it is for 200 years. Crusaders divided conquered land into four small states. And in 1197, however, Jerusalem would fall to the Muslim leader Saladin. The key players on the crusade were actually Pope Urban II. He calls for the first crusade. Saladin is the most well-known of the Muslim leaders, and King Richard the Lionheart was the most well-known Christian leader at that time. And these were the effects of the Crusades. It left a bitter legacy of religious hatred that continues today. That's why Muslim and Christians are not always in good terms. There were actually some positive outcomes. The Crusades were increased trade and introduced spices, fabrics, and perfumes from the Middle East to Europe. And there's more. The ships built to carry crusaders would later be used for trade, and the returning crusaders brought with them new foods that led to a demand for new foods from the Middle East. In terms of economic expansion, it increased power for monarchs, increased power for the Pope, wider worldview. And some of the last effects of the crusade was that it increased cultural interaction between Muslims and Christians, especially in the areas of technology and trade. There would be a decline in papal prestige because of the inability of Christian crusaders to successfully capture and keep the Holy Land. The experiences of crusaders were expanded European horizons and brought Europe into a wider world and would lead to a new age of exploration.